Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome, and I hope that you will become a subscriber. I'm trying to grow my channel and I love to get new subscribers and have you comment, tell me the things that you're interested in seeing and maybe things we have in common. So I hope that you will enjoy this video. In this video, I'm going to tell you about one of my most prized possessions. Now, if you've been a subscriber here for a while, if you've watched my channel for a little bit, you know that I am a first grade teacher. And for a long time, I was a second grade teacher. I've been teaching first grade for a few years now, but for most of my teaching time, I taught second grade. And I just love second graders. They are still so sweet, and they're pretty independent. And so anyway, one year, it's been several years back, I had this little guy in my class, and he just made such an impression on me with this amazing thing that he did. And so I want to share it with you guys. Now, first of all, I want to show you something, and this may not look like much. It's a bell, and it kind of reminds me when I was a little girl, my grandmother had a dry cleaning shop, and she had a bell that was really similar to this in her dry cleaning shop, so that if she was at the back, her customers could just ring the bell and she knew somebody was there. Well, this one year in my classroom, I had a bell like this, and I used it to get the kids' attention. And also when we were doing groups, centers and stuff, when it was time to switch centers, I would ring the bell and then everybody knew, clean up your center. And then when I rang the bell again, it was time for everybody to rotate to the next center. Well, this one year, I had that going, and this particular time, they were doing math centers. And one little guy got really excited, and he went running to the next center, and when he did, he ran into my bell that I had. It crashed to the floor, and I didn't even know you could break one of these, but somehow it broke. It fell on the tile floor, and I mean, the whole thing fell apart, and I couldn't even fix it. So I was, a little bit upset because I hadn't had it for that long, but, I just said, well, I really feel bad that my bell is broken, and that's why we don't run in the classroom and everything, kind of the things teachers say, when a kid breaks something. And so anyway, I didn't think much else about it, but there's a different kid that was in my room that year, just the sweetest little guy, and he was really quiet. And he had had a lot of trouble reading, and I'd been working with him and everything. And so that year, we had been doing some writing. We always did writing in the classroom, but I was trying to encourage the kids to write stories, and they just didn't. They're second graders, so they were having a lot of trouble coming up with things to write about. Well, this one little boy, he really kind of took to writing stories, and I had to help him a lot with his spelling and things like that, but he enjoyed it. And so he tried to write these different little books. Well, one of the things that I had started doing with him was, with all the kids, was that I had gone and I think I bought these maybe at Mardell's, which is a Christian, it's a Christian bookstore, but they sell a lot of homeschooling stuff too. So teachers buy a lot of stuff there. Well, they had this package of these little pre-made books that were blank. They just had blank pages on them. And they were like a couple of dollars a piece. But I had bought a package of those, well, however many packages it was, to have a class set. And I was encouraging my kids, hey, if you write a story and we work on it and we get it, looking really nice, then we can put your story in one of these books and you'll have a real book, And so they kind of got excited about it. Well, anyway, this one little kid, after my bell broke, he I didn't think anything else about that bell. And a few days later, he came in. He wasn't even the one that broke the bell, but he came in and he's real quiet, like I said. He came back to my back table and he handed me this box. And I said, "Oh, is this something for me?" And he just nodded his head, yes. And I opened up that box, and inside was this bell, this very one. And he had gone out and bought me a new bell because he was so soft-hearted that he knew that, oh, her bell broke and I don't want her to be sad. So he didn't even break it, but he's the one that bought me the new bell. Well, I told him, I said, "Oh my gosh, that just touches my heart so much that you would do that. I've never had anybody do anything like that for me." And so I said, you know, that would just make the best story about how my bell got broken and then, you know, that I was sad and everything. Do you know what he did? He went and he wrote the story about that bell getting broken and about him going and getting me another bell. Now, I'm going to show you, he gave me this book later on in the year. He made another copy of it. He went and wrote it again, and he gave me this book. And I mean, it's nothing fancy, but I'll tell you what, it's my most prized book. And so it may not look like you would expect a finished book to look, but keep in mind, this was a second grader that really had a lot of trouble reading, let alone writing. And the fact that he did this is so sweet to me. And some of it has a little bit of whiteout on it, and it's kind of faded over time a little bit, but I'm going to tell you what it says. He titled it, "When I Bought Mrs. Mason a Bell." And there's his title. And again, it's a little faded here. It's hard to see, but he put that, and then he's got his name at the bottom. On the back, he wrote the sweetest letter to me, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "Dear Mrs. Mason, I am going to miss you." He gave me this at the end of the year. "I'm going to miss you. Thank you for helping me. I'm giving you this book to remember me." And I do remember him. "I hope you enjoy this book. I'm lucky to have you. You are the best teacher in second grade. You expect me to write. If you didn't, I wouldn't be a writer." So I want to read this book to y'all. And it just means so much to me. And he dedicated it to me too. We talked about dedication pages. So he put everything in this book. So I'm going to read it. "One day in math, we were working with a partner. The teacher told us to ring her blue bell when we were done. We were working and a group was finished. One of the kids started running and then he hit the bell." He didn't put pictures in here. He did in his original one, but this one he copied for me, so he didn't have time for pictures. "As he reached for the bell, he hit it and it crashed to the ground." And I want to show y'all what he did here. He put the little 3 dots like it's a cliffhanger. You know, what happened? It broke. The teacher was sad. It was time to go home. And again, I wish you could see the pictures he drew in the original one. He just made this copy for me. "When I went home, I did my homework. I went to go pick up my cousin. I went to get my money." There's a little sentence. "I went to the store and bought a new bell." Now, I'm just imagining him doing these things, which he really did do, and just the thoughts that were going through his sweet little head. I went back home. It was sunset. And in his original book, he drew this little sunset and everything, and he drew himself going to the store, and it was so sweet. And I remember I told him when I read that story, I said, that's my favorite part because it was such a specific detail. It was sunset. It was nighttime. And the next day I went to school. I went into the classroom. I opened my backpack and gave my teacher a new bell. She was happy and she gave me a hug. And I just want y'all to know, a 7-year-old wrote this, and to me, this is the best book I've ever read. I love this, and I read it to my classes every year to encourage them to write their own books. Something else about this little guy. I had, like I said, I had bought that set of pre-made books, but I didn't have a lot of money to keep buying them, you know, over and over. One day he came in and he started pulling out of his backpack these little books that he had made that were blank, and he had taken pieces of cardboard and that made the outside of the book, and he had stapled blank pages in between. And what he did was, I bet he had made 20 of these, and he started handing them out to the other kids so that they could write books too. And I'll tell you what, I mean, for a teacher to see a kid do that, that really touched my heart, and it made me know I may not have done everything else right, because we don't, you know, but that year I thought, he has become a teacher himself. Anyway, there's so many moments like that as a teacher, and I thought y'all might enjoy that story, just a little glimpse into a teacher's life. You know, we got our ups and downs, but boy, things like that make the downs seem like nothing. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this book that my little guy gave me, and the bell. And I keep this sitting up on my desk in my living room in a place of honor, and I always will. This means more to me than any other book that I have. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And again, if you are enjoying my channel or this video, please become a subscriber and share your thoughts with us. And we'd love to hear from you. All right, and please share my videos if you like them. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Goodbye.